Good morning, Muscatine. I can tell you right now, the most important thing you can do is come out and get the fresh strawberries that Toby's putting out right now. I don't like strawberries, and they actually look good. So, what's that tell you? So, a couple quick things before we jump into what I think is going to be a great conversation. A couple reminders. Impact Fitness and Nutrition is going to have the Ride to End Alzheimer's Saturday. Yeah, Saturday already. So don't forget to sign up for that. You can find all the information. Just type in Ride to End Alzheimer's on Facebook. You'll find them, or type in fitness. Type in anything. You're probably going to find Autumn. You know, it's not like we don't know who she is. Don't forget you've got Drowsy Chaperone from the MHS drama group this week. Get tickets at BookTix. It's muscatinehighschool.booktix.com. They're Thursday, Friday, 2 shows Saturday. And then the other big one that I want to remind everybody about, Frank Iliff was here a handful of days ago talking about Rebuilding Together. They've got the big Rebuilding Together Day, part of the national thing, which is April 29th, which is next weekend. If you can be a part of it, go out to their website. You can register. You sign a little waiver. They take great care of you. Food, lunch, water, you name it, and you get to go do some cool projects around town. So they've got great systems for everything they do. You don't have to be a handyman, handy woman, handy person, whatever. Just go be some extra hands. So with that, I actually wanted to, that's actually a nice little pivot to, that's like a, maintenance and things that everybody needs to do for their home. We actually have two folks here who help with kind of the maintenance-y sort of things that every person needs. I never thought of it, and that's probably never a way you guys have been described, I'm going to guess. But I've got Rob and Stacy from the Peer Drop-In Center at, and so this is a really complicated thing, and we're not going to go too far into it, but it's at MCSA. It's run by UnityPoint, the Robert Young Center, so they've got a bunch of great support behind them. So that probably is the easiest way to understand it when you say. Yeah. So if you guys could introduce yourselves real quick and give us just a quick glimpse into what you guys do, and then we'll dive into some of the more fun stuff.
Well, my name is Stacy, peer recovery specialist at the MCSA Drop-In Center. We are there every day from 8 to 4:30, and we just provide a safe environment for anybody that wants to come in and talk or have some kind of assistance with, pretty much anything. Like, we help people with SNAP applications, free government phone applications, Medicaid, all of that stuff. We can do referrals for Robert Young care coordinators, and they get a little bit more specific into some of the needs that the people might have when they come in there. We just want to make sure that they know that we have, lived experience with mental health issues in our lives, and that's why they call us peers. And we come from a very non-judgmental place, and just try and provide the empathy and the support that people might need, that they could be going through anything. And if we can't help them in a short time that they're in there, it takes a little time to build trust, we can refer them to, an agency in the community that might be able to help them. But, that's pretty much the gist of our safe environment that people, they really love to come in there. We have coffee every day. We do different activities.
You're luring people in with coffee, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Whatever we can provide. And the coffee is always by donation. So we have a lot of guests that live there or that just come in there and want to chill with us, and they bring the coffee, and the creamer and the sugar. But we'll always take the donations. and so...
Rob, if you want to introduce yourself real quick.
Yeah, I'm Rob Hillman. I'm also a peer recovery specialist. I think Stacy really covered it, so thanks for having us on, Chris.
Yeah,
just kidding.
We're done.
Yeah,
cut, wrap. See you tomorrow.
Nailed it. Thank you, Stacy. We really want to take the stigma out of asking for help is one of the main things, and It's truly a drop-in center. All of our services are totally free. People can come in at any time. We do have a Wellness Wednesday where we come together as a group, and me and Stacy will talk about things that we've been trained in. We'll talk about kind of our story that brought us to become peer specialists. We have really different backgrounds, the two of us, but it's really easy to find the things that we have in common with each other because of, just kind of the basis of empathy and non-judgment and just seeking wellness in the way that works for us as individuals. And we try to bring that to the center as well. So people that come in, they come in with all kinds of different needs. MCSA isn't just a homeless shelter. It's amazing to work there because people find what they need when they come there, and we're kind of that first stop to come and ask, can you help me with this? Can you help me start my new business? Somebody legitimately came in with that question yesterday, and we helped.
There's tons of resources in town for that too.
Yeah.
So, if you would, the peer recovery specialist, can you tell us a little bit about what it takes to become one, and maybe briefly, or if you're comfortable, like how you guys came to do this and sort of why it's an important role for you personally and the community, like how it fits in?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I came to being a peer specialist because I was interested in mental health for a while. I volunteered as a crisis chat counselor and just decided that this was what I wanted to do, support people's mental health. Before that, I had been a music student. I had been in graduate school at University of Iowa for a number of years, and the stress and the pressure were just affecting me differently. And so taking care of my mental health got me through that, and then I realized I cared so much more about what I was learning taking care of my mental health, and so I kind of switched gears with my career. And then I found this position and found MCSA, and so yeah, it's kind of been not a very non-linear path, but the fit feels so good for me because of that focus on non-judgment and really taking the stigma out of asking for help for your mental health.
Yeah. I started out and got an AA in psychology. I was always real interested in, trying to figure out how to help people. I've always been that friend that people come to for advice, and I've had some really interesting experiences with my own family and oldest son, trying to figure out how to help with mental health. And I felt like I couldn't find it. I didn't know where to turn. I didn't know what was out there as far as, agencies or services, and I struggled a lot with it. And then I just kept on that path, and then I actually worked at the high school as a special ed para for 10 years and kind of got to be almost like peer support. I mean, right. I know they're teenagers, but I really enjoyed helping the kids in all areas. So I then decided to get my bachelor's degree in correctional program support services to try to help people integrate back into the community after prison. Well, I started searching on the internet for jobs, and I found a peer recovery specialist. And I'm like, well, what is that? And I read it, and I'm like, that's me. That's me.
That's
exactly what I want to do.
Well, right?
That's exactly what I want to do. So here I am, and I love it. It's very rewarding.
Well, and the one thing that, almost every organization that deals with supporting people in the community has this same problem, and that's people taking that first step, right, mm-hmm. to get help. And we all know that, the sooner you ask for help, usually the easier it is, right? Yeah. But we all also, as humans, tend to resist that, right? No, I can take care of it myself, or I'm not that bad, or mm-hmm. somebody else needs it more than I do, or whatever it is, right? Or, as you pointed out, they don't know where to go, right? They may be right. willing to take that first step. And that's what I love about the thing that we get to do in the community is we get to talk about those first steps a lot, and how to make those, to be blunt, less scary, right?
Yeah.
Or make them a little more comfortable. And the thing that as we were talking before the show, that I really picked up on, and this is a word that triggers me in a positive way, and that's empathy, right? So we were, my wife and I were on the Family Advisory Council for the Children's Hospital for like 8 years. And so we worked with patient family-centered care and all the nurses and a lot of the physicians and other parents. And one of the things that they always talked about was empathy and the difference between empathy and sympathy. And that's, you know, you guys were saying the same things that we talked about up there. And what I love about it, and even how you guys tell your story, is Brene Brown. Are you guys familiar with her? She has this great video on empathy out there.
Yep.
And basically, it's great. Go find it. Just type in Brene Brown empathy. You'll find it. It's like 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes. But the difference between empathy and sympathy is so big and so critical. And, you know, empathy is feeling with someone. Sympathy is feeling for someone, right? And the perfect example she gives is like, so somebody falls in a hole, right? You know, somebody walks by and says, hey, do you need help? Yeah, oh, here's a sandwich, and tosses it down. And then somebody says, hey, here's a phone number you can call, and tosses it down. And then, you know, the person who's exhibiting empathy hops down there with them and says, all right, you know, I'm glad you told me. Let's figure out what the next first step is together. They don't I love it. She makes up a word, silver lining. You know, you don't silver lining stuff, you know, like you recognize that that's their reality and that's what they're experiencing. And just hearing you guys in that first 10-minute conversation, that's you guys in a nutshell, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I agree.
And
like
so
it.
when people come in for you guys, recognizing that context of your goal is to kind of like stand there with them almost to get through this stuff, what are some of the things that you wish people knew about that first time coming in that they may not know?
I listen. You know what I mean? Like, some people just want to talk. And so active listening, just making sure that you let them know that I hear what you're saying. And then just sometimes it'll be like, what do you need? What can I do to help? You know, just those simple questions sometimes. Sometimes they don't know yet. But you just, that's the main thing I do, is I just try to listen and then get a feel for, you know, how much, try not to give too much feedback. You know, you can't talk at somebody sometimes when they just want to come in there and vent about what's going on. And then if they feel like they're being listened to and they're not being judged, they'll come back and talk to you again. And then you have to build that trust and that rapport, and then pretty soon I'm helping them fill job applications out, or, you know, those types of things. And sometimes it takes time. People have a hard time trusting, especially the ones that have been through so much and they've been let down a lot. And so that's the main thing for me, is just trying to build a trust with somebody so they know that they have some place to keep coming back to. And eventually,
And
we'll
coffee
get there.
helps, right?
Coffee helps. So does food. We have food on Wellness Wednesdays, and they love it. So, yeah.
Rob, what do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we try not to have any kind of agenda with anybody, and how we help one person is going to be very different from how we help somebody else. And so it's this interesting process of figuring out what everybody needs, and not just having like a cookie cutter approach, and not having like, it's not me having a specific goal for anybody. It's about, like, exactly what Stacy was saying, identifying what do they want for themselves, you know, what do they need based on what they are looking for on their own. And it's okay to not know that for yourself. It's okay to come in and just kind of figure that out together, because we're specifically not trying to like steer anybody in any particular direction other than finding wellness.
Right.
You know.
And, you know, I would think you guys probably have a lot of conversations that are just like almost brainstorming sessions of like, you know, what are some things you're struggling with? What were some of your hopes 5 years ago? You know, like, and just, you know, I think even being able to guide people through that, and maybe toss a little nugget out here and there, you know, like, would this be something of interest? You know, like, just sort of help like get those juices flowing. Because I think, in my experience anyway, you know, sometimes just getting the process going is the hardest part. You know, once you start getting a couple ideas on a whiteboard, so to speak, or a piece of paper, then the other ideas come, and you're like, oh, you know what, I'm also not happy with this, so maybe I could do this. you know, I think that's, again, that big key is just, you know, getting that first step. So if somebody's watching at home right now and what are the emotions right now or feelings that they could be feeling right now that would be like, hey, you know what, if you're feeling this, it'd probably be a good thing to stop in and talk with us a little bit. Like,
I keep thinking of the word empowerment, and like, I guess if you're feeling like disempowered or feeling small in any way, it can be hard to identify where that's coming from, or maybe you know where it's coming from, but it's like you kind of don't want to talk about it. But I honestly, like, we're not going to pry into anybody's personal information. We're not going to, like, you know, ask difficult questions necessarily. We really just want to be there. And I think, like, just opening yourself up even a little bit to building a relationship with somebody, you know, that just opens the door for a little bit more. Oh, I don't need to, like, hold everything inside. I don't need to, like, do things on my own without help from anybody.
and I think, you know, I'm going to paraphrase Will Smith here, and I don't even exactly remember where I heard him say this or what it was, but he said something to the effect of, your greatest happiness is on the other side of your greatest fear, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, is it 100% true? Probably not, but it gives a really good point of, you know, you may be a little apprehensive or scared or whatever of going in and asking for help, but if you can get through that, there's going to be good on the other side, right? And that's, you know, kind of like pulling a Band-Aid off almost, you know, like, you know, it's going to hurt, especially like me, you got a ton of hair, you know, it's just going to, but once you get it off, you're good, right? Yeah,
definitely. And it's just so funny because we have this conversation over and over again, and it's kind of like, it's kind of hard to describe what we do. It feels like it's so non-specific, but yeah, because it's always different and it's always changing. Like, before I really arrived at mental health and being a peer specialist as being like, oh, this is my thing, it was like that for me too. I'm like a person who's interested in so many different things, and I was in music. I was like, this is working for me, but, you know, like, I could be a landscape gardener, you know, like, I could be a writer, you know, like, and it takes trying a lot of different things to find, you know, where's my niche, or like, where's the thing that's really going to give me some mileage. And yeah.
So as we think about this, there's obviously, you know, the more non-urgent situations, kind of like what we've talked about. You know, are there any other, like, more urgent situations that, you know, I know you guys, we talked briefly about the crisis line and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else like that you'd want to touch on here real quick?
Well, I don't know if we said the crisis line. I brought my notes up just for the number. It's 855-581-8111, and it's for any kind of crisis. It's not just like a suicide helpline, right, but it's you know, it's for any kind of mental health. Yeah, and they have mobile crisis that's also free services. If things are more urgent, I mean, MCSA is a shelter, and they have services to help people to keep their housing. You don't come if you've just lost your house. It's, right, you know, you can come before, you know, any kind of
there's a lot of homelessness prevention.
Yes,
functions.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah. Other things can you think of?
Well, I know there's one that's, we should switch to something fun maybe. Yeah. Like, don't you guys like play bingo?
Yes.
What? Tell me about bingo.
So, bingo is the second and fourth Friday of every month. We have prizes, and we have a 2-card limit and 2 bingos per card. So it's kind of a you will win if you play kind of thing. You know, we have Powerball.
I would be willing to probably try that, because I'm going to say I suck at bingo, which I know you can't suck at bingo, but I do. I don't know how. Maybe I don't pay enough attention and I, like, miss stuff. I don't know, but I couldn't win at bingo.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
We play till everybody wins.
Oh, that. We might be there all night.
Sometimes we're there for a while.
Yeah.
We have a variety. We have a variety of prizes that we give out. They seem to really like candy, but And we're always looking for donations for our bingo Fridays. Some of the things people have requested are things like bus passes. That's hard to come by sometimes, and there's people that need them for going to jobs or doctor's appointments or things like that. They like things like just like plastic bowls and plates and silverware and coffee cups. I mean, I just cleaned out my cabinet and brought in all of our coffee cups. That was like one of the biggest
Wow.
biggest things. They all wanted coffee cups, just different things like that. So we could always use donations for our bingo prizes. But they have a blast. It's so much fun in there with bingo. It really is. People stop in just because they can hear us in there. And
So where is bingo at?
it's in the pier drop-in. It might move, but we'll let you know.
Well,
Just to downstairs.
So where
in a
is the
bigger
pier
room.
drop-in? I guess we should probably actually cover that. Like, how does somebody come find you guys?
Well, if you walk into the Iowa Avenue entrance and you go upstairs, the front desk is right there. And then if you turn to your right, just right around the corner, we got big windows, and we're just right there, right inside the entrance upstairs.
So easy to,
Yeah.
I remember back when I was a kid, and this was still the YMCA, that was actually like the little welcome loungy sort of games, and it's kind of the same thing now,
Yep.
right? Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of cool.
We do puzzles a lot. People really like to participate in the puzzle activities that we have. And then we actually have started gluing them, and they're going to start going on our walls.
Oh,
And everybody
nice.
that participated in them, we're going to have them sign the puzzles. I think that'll be fun decoration for our room because a lot of people really like to participate in the puzzles.
Hey, Chris, we should take Sunny Day and turn it into a puzzle for him. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Or the
It's the clam man that Chris did. It's the yeah, you can see it. It's actually in the Hy-Vee thing as you head out. There's one. You'll totally know it when you see it.
or maybe the Boots painting. Everybody loves Boots. She's our feline support specialist.
I have a feeling there's a story there.
That's just what her title is.
Yeah, I mean,
We had a picture on the window. We still need to make a new one of me and him, and then Boots, feline support specialist. Everybody thought that was funny. Yeah.
Hey, if it works, it works. Wouldn't
Yeah.
work for. I'm allergic to cats, so
Oh.
I don't know how much hope. She would be for me, but I'm sure a bunch of other people get
Yeah.
a kick out of it. So real quick, just to kind of like sum this up, because we covered a lot here real quick, but basically you guys are right inside up the steps at MCSA.
Yes.
You guys are kind of like a welcome mat in a good way, right? Like,
Yeah.
not the walk on you sort of way, but like, just like
Right.
you're where you go when you're going somewhere, and you're like, help kind of connect with everything, just there to listen, just there to empathize and understand where they're at, maybe help connect them with where they need to go. And it doesn't all have to be like a one and done sort of a thing, right? Like,
Right.
it's about a relationship that can go through the whole process, right?
Exactly.
And then there's no cost to anything you guys do. You've got Wellness Wednesdays, which you've got some chow and
Yep.
all that fun stuff. Bingo on the second and fourth Fridays. Did I get that right?
Yeah. The third Friday of the month, I have a guest that comes in. This week it's going to be on Thursday. It just had to get changed. But typically on the third Friday of the month, I have a guest, Maureen, and she comes in and she brings activities. And she brings our the Muscatine painted rocks most of the time.
Uh-huh.
And she's doing that this Thursday. And also we should mention the pier drop-in is for 18 and over.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, if somebody under 18 dropped in, would you have somewhere you could refer them to?
Yes, I have had that happen before.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then every Monday we'd make popcorn about noon. So that's a hit.
Nice.
Nintendo Week Thursdays.
Oh yeah, Nintendo
Oh,
Week
what is
Thursdays.
this? You gotta tell me about this, Rob.
We bowl.
Yeah, okay, so we actually had a guest donate a Nintendo Wii to the drop-in center, and so we have all the sports, but bowling is by far the most popular,
Yeah,
and so
doesn't surprise me.
it's usually for a couple of hours, starting around noon, we'll bowl, every Thursday. So we'll switch this week since Maureen's coming on Thursday, but Friday we'll bowl this week, but usually it's every Thursday we bowl.
Maybe I should like challenge people. Who
We
is it?
do.
Have you-
We have staff from United Way coming in like 2 or 3 weeks, and they're gonna compete with us in our bowling tournament. So
And who is it? Addington Place, Sunnybrook. Addington Place does. They have for their residents. They have like different groups come in and play Wii bowling with them, and we got to do it.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
Oh man, it was like 2 years ago maybe, and it was just a blast. Like
Yeah.
it was an absolute blast. But
Yeah, we'll have people who have never Wii bowled before, and then they'll like school everybody. I don't know how it happens,
that's,
but it's
my
great.
wife's that way. My wife's not a gamer. She's not particularly an athlete. But the one thing she can do is Wii bowl. We had some friends in Chicago we went up to visit. We took the Wii. This was many years ago. And our daughter was maybe, I don't know, a year old, right? So she's still really small. She would hold her and bowl and do better than the rest of us.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Who has his arm in a sling and was
Just
bowling sitting down.
Give her that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Nope, that's fine.
Sorry.
No,
We
that's
had
fine.
somebody that's has an injured arm, and so he's sitting down bowling like this, and
That's
he
how I do it.
beat
I just sit
everybody.
on the couch.
Yeah, it was fun. So just to add to where our drop-in is at, if you come up and around, and we have glass windows, one of the things that people come in for is our daily dad joke that gets written on the window every day, and those are Rob's. And so people will read that, and they'll like either shake their head or laugh, and then they'll come in. Because I mean, we want it to be like a fun place that you can go if you want to have fun. So
That's awesome.
Tell us about
do you
the
know
dad
do you
jokes,
remember
Rob.
what today's was?
Well, I'll just tell you my favorite one.
Okay, that works.
Two cowboys. One says to the other, "We need to move those cows." The second one says, "Heard that."
I love it. I love it. Love it.
There's also a daily inspirational quote on the window that Stacy does.
I don't
so
remember what it is right now, but I add a new positive type. I add a new positive daily quote. So he's got dad jokes, and I've got positive quotes on the.
So you got serious, you got goofy.
Yeah,
It works.
yeah.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Tell another one.
Tell another
Tell
one.
another
She
one.
says.
the king. Well, there once. All right, I'm going to tell another one.
Go for it.
There once was a king who was only 12 inches tall, and he was a terrible leader, but he made a great ruler.
Saw that one coming. I saw that one coming.
12 inches tall.
I was like grinning to myself inside because I'm like, I know where this one's going. I like this.
We get like such good reactions out of people sometimes, and sometimes they're just like, no, but it's
But-
still all fun.
Well,
they love
either
it.
way, it breaks the ice, right?
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
You know, everybody gives me crap. My
People
son
will
gives me
come
crap
in
about
and
it.
be like, "What's the dad joke today?" Or yeah, that sort
my,
of thing.
My son gives me crap about my dad jokes, but all his friends love them. You know.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
So-
like I have group chats and things with people now where they're just like, I need to know the daily dad joke. Keep updating me.
you know, maybe you should just send them out here every morning, and I can like read them on the show.
Done. Let's do it.
All right. So, guys, thank you for stopping in. Is there anything else major that you wanted to cover? I mean, we covered a lot.
The donations for bingo prizes, if people want to help us out, they're more than welcome to.
Check out the MCSA's Facebook page,
Okay.
and you can see our calendar, our activities that we have going on, any donations that we could use. We're always looking for guests. I might have mentioned this. Guest speakers for our Wellness Wednesdays. If any community agencies would like to come in and share what they do, that could possibly be a benefit to the people that join us for our Wellness Wednesdays, that would be awesome. So just reach out to us. We can reach us at the MCSA. I don't know the number by heart.
Oh, just type in MCSA, people. You all have
Yeah.
phones and Google.
Yeah.
You'll find it.
563 264 3278.
Or just call Rob. He knows it. Well, guys, thank you for stopping in. It was a blast. Lots of
Thanks,
great
Chris.
information. Thank you for what you do with the community. It's a huge service, but also just positive. You know, it's about targeting where positive needs to happen, right? And you're right there on the front lines of it. So thank you both. We all appreciate what you do, even if you don't see it every day. So thank you. I'm sure we'll talk again soon, and I'm
Sounds
going to be
good.
looking for those dad jokes. So
Absolutely.
Muscatine, you may, by tomorrow at this time, you'll probably have a dad joke. I'm just saying. So you better watch. And we will see